Let's go.
G'day guys, this is the first podcast I'll be doing. We call it a WSSC podcast. As you can see, I'm actually in my office right now. So this is my first podcast. We'll just see how it goes, and obviously every week I want to do one, and I want to make it interactive as possible. So today I'm going to go over kind of the reason why I started this business. It's nearly a year old. And today I'm going to go over that. I'm going to go over a few other things, and every week I'm hoping for you guys to write into me, and I go over a topic. It can be any topic on strength and conditioning. It could be neuromuscular strength and power development. It could be speed mechanics. It could be agility, conditioning, flexibility, injury prevention, loading parameters, how to best stimulate muscle hypertrophy. Anything you want, you guys ask me, and I'll try and answer the best possible way. On top of that, I'm looking to interview highly educated people in the field. So evidence-based practitioners actually in strength and conditioning. A big problem in strength and conditioning is there's a lot of academics, but there's no jobs. So very rarely do you get to hear in mainstream media from these elite strength and conditioning coaches. And I'm trying to bring it to mainstream media. First of all, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Christian Woodford, and I'm the owner of Woodford Sports Science Consulting. My company specialises in athletic preparation of athletes of all different demographic, all different sports. Any sport, you name it, we've got it. And we program for it. So that's the first thing. Number two, we do take in, and I get this question all the time, we actually do take in general prop clients. It's about 80-20, so 80% athletes, 20% general pop, and what we do with them is we teach basic fundamental lifting and lifting for performance and lifting for aesthetics. So the best way to lose weight, gain mass, and pretty much exactly what I said, lose weight. So that's obviously a big thing what we do here. We just teach basic fundamental lifting in a scientific framework. So what I'm going to go over now, guys, is obviously my first podcast. I kind of want to just go over just my background and the reasons why I started WSSC, and kind of just give you an idea on why I do what I do and why I am the way I am, and the reason why a lot of people ask me, why am I so negative on the fitness industry? Why am I so negative on the universities? And why I am the way I am. And I need to give you a background on why I did what I did. So I'll just give you how I started and which teams I work for. First of all, I'll give you my academic background. I've actually got an undergrad degree in exercise science. I completed that at Vic Uni, and that's a 3-year course. And I'll be honest with you, I was terrible. I'm not a smart person at all. I'm actually the opposite, but I've just got so much drive, and I just will my ability to get the most out of myself. And I actually love physiology and human performance. So I did an exercise science degree. I was lucky enough after that to be selected to complete my honours, and if you know what honours is, it's still an undergraduate degree, but it's looking at an area of interest. Now, I had a few options. I could have gone physiology, motor learning skill acquisition, biomechanics, which is all big areas, but I kind of wanted to go down a different route, and I did motor control or neuroscience. And I did with a guy called Dr. Alan Pierce, who's actually at Deakin University currently, and he was unbelievable for me personally to learn about the neuromuscular system, the CNS, and how it drives and controls muscle contraction, but also the importance of the CNS for athletic performance in developing strength, power, speed, agility, which is a neurological quality. And I was very lucky to be able to do that. And my project, and I get a lot of people messaging me about my project and saying, did you get it published? Can I have your thesis? Can you read it? I'm always happy to give it out. So if you do want to read what I looked at, please email me. I'm happy to send it through. Have a read what data I came up with. My project, the official title was Neurological Adaptation Underpinning Strength Improvements Following Slow and Fast Velocity Leg Strength Training. So pretty much what we did, what we looked at was highly trained individuals, so athletes or individuals with a training age of over 2 years, and what we did is we test them over 3 weeks to see if they've actually plateaued in their 1RM squat, and if they had over 3 weeks plateaued or not improved in their 1RM or to a percentage change, we actually quantified them as being plateaued. And so what we did, we allowed them to be in this study. And what the study looked at was exactly what I said, highly trained individuals who are plateaued and how to best overcome a strength plateau with movement velocity. The neurophysiological markers we use was a technique called TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. And what that does is creates a magnetic field that induces electrical currents in conductive tissue, such as neurological tissue, so neural tissue and muscular tissue. And what we get from that twitch response is what we call an MEP. Now, MEP is just a motor invoked potential. So what we saw is we zapped the athletes, we zapped the athletes pre-training intervention, so we obviously tested them, and then we zapped them post-intervention to see if we got a rise in MEP. Now, a rise in MEP will just mean greater corticospinal excitability, and obviously with the performance measure of strength, if they improved their 1RM strength and they got an increase in MEP, we can pretty much say the increase in strength is due to that neurological mechanism of that increase in MEP. So we looked at two movement speed, one being slow, one being fast. And without going into too much detail, what we found was the slower the movement speed, the greater task complexity on the nervous system, the greater sensory input, the greater increase in strength and neural excitation. So that was my honors study. If you do want to know more, I've got to really hurry because the podcast is only 25 minutes. I'm actually with one of my interns at the moment, and I do ramble a lot, so I'm sorry, so I'm just going to hurry this up a little bit. After that, I'm actually currently doing my Masters of Strength and Conditioning at Edith Cowan University. Now, I've only really done that for a bit of fun. Not that I don't think I need it as a coach, but I've done it. In terms of my future endeavours, I wouldn't mind investigating a PhD. I've got a few guys that I could do it with. All guys I look up to, so we'll see where it goes. I mean, I never stop learning, and that's one thing that if I teach young aspiring strength coaches is you never stop learning, you know. Never ever think you know everything, because I've touched the surface on what I know. So just never stop learning. I've never stopped learning, so wouldn't mind looking at a PhD. Probably something in neuromuscular strength and power development in athletes. I haven't really refined it yet. Obviously, I'm in my Masters. I'm only still young, so I'll have a look at something like that. In terms of my practical application, I'll just talk about where I've been and who I've coached and what I've coached. Melbourne Victory Youth, did a stint there. Oakley Chargers, Football Federation Victoria, Blackrock Football Club, Gridiron Victoria, Gridiron Australia, Victorian Institute of Sport, and my last internship I completed at Maryland University in Baltimore, Washington, D.C. in the US of A. I completed an internship there under the football department in NCAA Div 1 college training their Div 1 athletes, but also I coached a few NFL players. I was quite lucky to be able to coach NFL players. So I've got that theory, the theory, but also got the applied side as well. And in terms of strength and conditioning in Australia, you're either an academic or you're too applied. There's nothing in between. So I see myself as kind of in between both of them. I got the theory and I got the practical application. To me, that's what makes a good coach. So pretty much that's pretty much my background. That's the academia I've got. That's the coaching experience that I've got. In terms of why I started this business, I mean, for me, I came back from the States, and it was a big learning curve for me to see how they coached, and the amount of jobs that are over there is huge. So my advice is, if you're a young aspiring strength coach, if you're an exercise science student, is theory is great. You know, I get all these kids emailing me per week saying, you know, can I come down and watch what you do, even after third year. But they've got no practical application. They can't coach a squat. They can't coach a deadlift. They can't give basic, simple coaching cues. They can't communicate with an athlete. They can't program for an athlete. I say to most of my guys, what is your methodology behind your programming? Justify why you do what you do. And they can't do it. To me, that's useless, because you've got this theory and they can't coach it. So you're not going to get a job. So you've just done 3 years and you're unemployable. And on top of that there's no jobs in Australia. There's the elite jobs, but about 2% of people get them. So what do? You're an overqualified personal trainer. So for me, why I started this company, I went to America. I saw how the American guys did it. I worked in the college, and how I got that internship. It was hard. I was up against 30 other American guys who obviously they're in America. You know, there's heaps of them. What gives me the right to go over there and take their internships? But I worked hard. I had no contacts. Everyone says, how many contacts you have? I worked my ass off to get as many contacts as possible and work my way. And I had 4 interviews and I ended up getting the position. Best experience of my life. So I went over there, saw how they coached, saw how they interacted, saw their applied strength and conditioning, learned off their head coach Drew Wilson, learned off the assistant strength and conditioning coach Alan Weber, learned off the assistant strength and conditioning coach Trenton Clausen, and learning off these guys, man, it was unbelievable. And to see how they're coached, the difference between Australia and America and strength and conditioning, applied strength and conditioning is huge. They're here, we're here. So for me, just seeing that system was unbelievable, and I took so much away from it. So when I came back, I had an option. I could have stayed there, and I got offered a few things over there, or I can come back and really evoke a bit of change in this industry. This industry at the moment is stuffed. You've got personal training, you've got all these glamour gyms, and they've stuffed the whole industry up because the standard is so low. It's incredible how you can do an 8-week course or 12-week course and think you're an expert at anything. You know, they say they specialize in strength conditioning, rehabilitation, pre and post surgery. It's bullshit. It's unfair for people who bust their ass to do a degree and a master's in rehab to say that. So for me, it's breaking down stigmas. It's putting strength and conditioning, and when I say strength and conditioning, I mean evidence-based practice, strength and conditioning into mainstream. And that's why I started this company. Because I came back and I saw all the guys in the States like DeFranco, like Cressy, like Mike Boyle, these Dave Tate, all these big guys, and they write Team Nation, you read all that stuff, and these guys are applied. And in America, when you're a student, you read up on these guys, and they're kind of like the guys that you look to as a student. You say, I want to be like Boyle, I want to be like Cressy. You know, I want to work my way up. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. These are the guys I look up to. In Australia, there's no one. And I came back with the whole idea of being that guy, you know, and I was kind of sick to death of just waiting for someone to do it in Australia. And I kind of took control of it. I said, I want to be Christian Woodford. I want to be known as the #1 strength and conditioning coach in Australia in terms of overall. And I came back with that whole idea of creating this model, this company, this model that works of evidence-based practice, but also has the applied element as well. We make the best athletes. We make them bigger, stronger, faster. And in my company, we coach athletes, and that's what I wanted. And no one does it. There was a niche. There's no athlete-friendly gyms in Australia. Where do you go when you're an athlete where you want to improve your athletic ability in terms of your athlete quality, strength, power, speed, agility, work capacity, flexibility, mobility, performance nutrition? Where do you go? You go to a glamour gym. When I talk glamour gyms, I'm talking about these big chain gyms. Fitness First, Genesis, Virgin. You know, the trainers don't have the knowledge. You know, they're actually going to regress your athletic potential. All they know is hypertrophy. They don't understand maximum strength, reactive strength, explosive strength, or power. They don't understand functional myofibrillar hypertrophy, how to develop it. They don't understand your loading parameters behind it, your rest periods, your exercise selection, how to maximize growth hormone testosterone, how to maximally stimulate your CNS for maximum strength. They don't understand it. So I kind of came back with the whole idea of creating a gym or a company that's so unparalleled in Australia. Every athlete has to train at my gym or wants to train at my gym. If you want to get better, train at Woodford SSC. And that's the reason why I did it. It's because I was sick to death of just mediocrity. This industry is just mediocre. And I set the bar high. And that's for all my staff. I set it high. We've got a set level that we need to hit, and we hit it every time. We are coaches. We have the theory, but we apply it. You know, we coach our athletes. We coach them to get better. Every session they come in, they get better. Strength and conditioning as a whole, it's very simplistic. What we do is we provide a stimulus to the athlete. We allow the appropriate rest, recovery, nutrition, hydration, and they adapt and they supercompensate. They get stronger. And for us guys, we keep it basic. We do the basic things at such a high level. We do progression. That's all it is. But for some reason in gyms, they just want to do all this gimmicky bullshit. And it looks pretty and it looks nice. Hey, no one wants to hear that you have to squat and deadlift heavy with progression and you're going to do that for 5-6 months. Fuck. No one wants to hear that shit. All they want to hear is they want an easy way out. And we're a society today instant gratification. Everyone wants that instant gratification. When I've done this for 8 years and I barely made any money for the first 6 years. I did work experience for free, but I did it for the love. And that's what these coaches have to understand. It takes time to get in this position. It doesn't happen overnight. So just understand, if you want to become and do this, or you want to work for my company, it takes time and effort and determination. So pretty much that's the reason why I started Woodford SSC, just to evoke change in this industry. I wanted to be that guy for the aspiring students to look up to and say, he's an applied guy. He's proven you can do a degree in honours and masters and coach athletes and do it at a high level. I wanted to create a system that athletes can come and train and get better, bigger, stronger, faster, and not worry about, hey, bodybuilders everywhere. And I'm not saying bodybuilders are a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. But that's their place. But you can't go to a gym and not be able to deadlift, not be able to squat because someone's curling in the squat rack, not because someone's doing something stupid in the squat rack. You can't squat, you can't deadlift, you can't clean, you can't jump. You know, so that's why I created it. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea on why I do what I do, and I'm very driven, I'm very passionate about changing this industry. So pretty much, if I've got to say anything to the young kids out there, is just get behind me. Even if you're not in strength and conditioning, if you just want to get better physically and you just want to increase muscle mass, you want to lose body fat, you want to get stronger, you want to get more powerful, just get behind me. Get behind my company, get behind my staff. You know, let's push this. Let's raise the standard of the fitness industry. Let's raise it so all these cowboys get called out. And then you're going to start to go, well, hold on a second. Woodford SSC uses evidence-based practice. What are the rest of the guys doing? So pretty much that's it, guys. Just get behind me. I'm not scared of pissing people off. I'm not, I'm sick of the status quo. So I come out and say my mind. I don't sit on the fence about anything. So, as I said, look up to me. I'll try and be a good role model. I'll try and help you out. When people email me, I get about 20, 30 emails every 2 to 3 weeks from young aspiring coaches, exercise science students saying how I got in this position. I'm always giving them people time. I'm happy to sit down and talk about my methodologies, why I do what I do, and how I got there. So please email me. I'm always happy to have a chat. So today, obviously, the first podcast is just an understanding of basically why I do what I do. I'm actually going to go on to my first topic, and I actually put it out there what topic people want me to go over, and I got a few emails back. If you actually know about me, you know about my company, and you know about my background in terms of understanding my expertise, if you will, I'm really interested in neuromuscular development, so strength, power development. I feel like that's my area, and I research it heavily, especially with understanding the CNS and the nervous system. So I'm going to go into a topic, and I was going to do it anyway, no matter what everyone knows about me with this stuff, but I'm going to talk about for about 4 to 5 minutes CrossFit, and the reasons why I don't like it. So I get a lot of hate mail from people saying, why don't you like CrossFit? It's changed my life. Let me just quickly go over why I don't like it. I'm going to keep this clear and concise as possible. I've only got another 6 to 8 minutes here, so I could go on all day. I'm going to quickly explain why I don't like it. In terms of the pros of CrossFit, I believe it's helped the general population move away from machine-based exercise. So obviously them going to the gym, the general population, and training with machines where the machine controls the path of movement. So it takes out that stabilized activation. So in terms of challenging the nervous system, I think that they've done that well. So as you can see, they do big, compound, multi-joint, multi-planar, ground-based movements like your squats, your deadlifts, your cleans. I think that's great. So they've taken that away from that general population. I also think they've got just general people to move out of their comfort zone. A big problem about most glamour gyms is people, their intensity effort and their rest periods, they don't understand how to stimulate change, how to get out of their comfort zone. And to most basic principle, every exercise science student, every strength coach knows is overload. Applying a stress that's greater than what the body's normally used to, you're going to get stronger and your body's going to adapt and increase in physiological capacities, performance capacities. It's going to increase. And I think what they've done is they've really got people to really work on intensity effort and exerting themselves and challenging themselves. So I think that's two good things which they've done. Let's go on the cons. I think the whole thing about CrossFit is, which I really dislike, is they've built their whole marketing campaign. I don't know how they've done it, but their marketing's huge. How How they've got people thinking that their training systems is better than normal strength and conditioning is fucking beyond me. I mean, I don't understand how you can think you can train to failure and think you're going to get fucking stronger than the average person who trains with heavy loads for low reps with max effort and maximally stimulating their CNS. So their whole thing is they constantly train to failure, and it's fucking terrible. It's not good for an athlete. It's terrible for an athlete, and I don't think it's got merit for the general population person. So first of all, they train to failure, which is, for me, it's terrible. It's going to create high amounts of metabolic fatigue in terms of your lactate, your hydrogen, number one. But it's going to completely fry your nervous system. And if you know anything about the nervous system is, if you fry your nervous system, you're going to feel like shit, you're going to feel tired, lethargic, and you're going to feel unmotivated. It's a terrible feeling. So that's the first thing. In most cases that I've seen, there's no quality. My company is all quality, not quantity. And people come down here and they're like, shit, that's different. And I look at them, I'm like, well, we just teach basic patterns with good quality and perfect technique. So what I see from CrossFit is just terrible shithouse technique and no quality. And we base everything on quality, not quantity. So it's just terrible quality. This is more of a generalization, but poor coaching. And I understand every organisation, you're going to have good people what they do and terrible people what they do. But if you put in a scenario where you need to do a 2-day course and you've got a Cert 3 and 4, which is 12 weeks, and then you can open up your what they call a box, and you can coach general population people who have pretty much never lifted in their life, and you coach them high task complexity lifts that have high neural activation, and they can't do them properly. It's a fucking recipe for fucking disaster. And someone who's coaching is incompetent because they've got no experience. For me, that's terrible. So poor coaching's one of them. Training Olympic lifts to failure or high reps of Olympic lifting. If anyone knows about Olympic lifting, it's got what we call high task complexity, meaning it's hard to learn. It takes time. It's about progression. It's about understanding your body and have body awareness and neurological development, motor control, body awareness. And these people teach Olympic lifting to people who've never done basic movements like squats or deadlifts or push-up. And you're teaching Olympic lifting and you're doing high volumes of lifting to failure or high rep. What's the point? The reason why you Olympic lift for an athlete or a general pop is to improve their power performance, their speed, their velocity, their rate of force development. When you train high rep Olympic lift under failure, there's two things that are going to happen. One, you get high metabolic fatigue, so your technique's going to break down. Number two, your CNS through your promotor cortex isn't going to tap in those high threshold motor units. And when I talk about high threshold motor units, I talk about the motor units, those muscle fibers that produce a high amount of force and high amount of velocity. So if you read back, the fast twitch fibers produce the high amounts of power output. When you're constantly trained to failure, your body isn't tapping those fast twitch fibers. They're actually deactivated. They're fast fatiguable. So with any Olympic lifting or plyometrics or speed work, it's quality, not quantity, but it's max effort, long recovery. These CrossFitters, they train to failure and they're doing high rep work. Bar speed slows down, so actual move velocity slows down, so power drops off. And intent, they've got no intent, so they can't move the bar, and so technique completely breaks down. So what they're doing is they're creating negative motor patterns with their nervous system. So they're recruiting muscles their body doesn't want to recruit. So what's the reason why you're doing the exercise? What CrossFitters will say is it's a metabolic stimulus for fat loss, so we're creating high amounts of EPOC loss. It's fair enough. Well, can't you do that with squats and deadlifts, really? Why the fuck do you have to do a high task complexity, high velocity movement? You know, they're forgetting about the reasons why they're doing it. Olympic lifting is a recipe disaster under failure and under fatigue. It's terrible for general population and terrible, even worse, for athletes. I've kind of went over this quickly. High metabolic, high neural fatigue. So pretty much, because they train under a time limit and everything's rushed, they want to rush everything. Who can go through the quickest? Let's go through the quickest. There's a high amount of metabolic fatigue. So when I talk about metabolic fatigue, they train in glycolysis. So when I train my guys we try and get full neuromuscular recovery. When I say that is, We want our high energy phosphates, our ATP PC system to fully recover. That takes normally 3 to 5 to 8 minutes recovery. If we're looking at the literature, it's between ATP 3 to 5, phosphocreatine 5 to 8. Now, obviously, I'm on a time limit. I've got limitations, so we look 3 minutes normally, and at least then they can still do a maximum effort. Their nervous system's pretty much recovered. They can give a max effort. They can tap in those fast twitch, high threshold motor units. When you are training past that time and you go anywhere past 30 seconds, which these CrossFitters do, and they're going into what we call anaerobic glycolysis or even aerobic respiration, it's a build-up of lactate and hydrogen. So it's that metabolic build-up, and that their technique is just, it's shot. They're training past their threshold where their form and technique breaks down, and it's just terrible for them. Next point is, which I'm going to talk about, is how they constantly talk about how their programs, which is not justified by scientific evidence whatsoever, which is the opposite of what I do. We work off a scientific framework and we use the latest evidence-based practice, is they talk about how their programs are better for athletes. So they talk about how their programs, when they do their programs, if you're an athlete and you do their programs, you'll produce more power and more max strength, more force, and their programs than a normal, overloaded, slowly progressed strength and conditioning program with basic scientific principles. What a fucking load of shit. What a load of shit, really. I mean, how they can justify saying that is unbelievable. And the fact that people believe them, if you're an athlete out there, I beg you, if you're a junior developing athlete, if you're an athlete, any high-intense intermittent athlete, any long, slow distance athlete, endurance runner, any team sport athlete, do not go to them. Do not go to them. Because they're only going to regress. They're going to make you slower. They're going to develop your slow twitch fibers, your aerobic system. They're not going to develop your neuromuscular system. Okay, they're just training a different quality of strength. They're training strength endurance, or what I like to call metabolic capacity. They're not going to make you bigger, stronger, faster. Do not go to them. They will regress your athletic potential and create negative adaptation, and you don't want that. If you're general population, I still will not go to them unless the coach is okay and he can implement it at a decent level. Other than that, do not go to them. One thing they forget about, and this is to all CrossFitters, this is you, a CrossFit coach, if you've got a rebuttal, please come back to me, because I will rebut everything you say to me. I'll use science. They forget about one basic principle, and it's a neuroscience principle I learned early stages of I learned in motor control. It's called the Henman size principle. And this principle states that motor units are recruited depending on their size. So how it's a systematic progression from small, slow firing, low threshold, and as more force is needed, those large, fast twitch motor units are recruited last as more force is needed. As you go on and you're trained to failure, those high threshold motor units, they switch off, okay? And what happens is, what takes over is those slow twitch motor units, so those oxidative slow twitch fibers. So you're actually not tapping those fast twitch fibers, so you're not developing that power, that strength that you need. So they're forgetting about the most basic neuroscience principle. So they're going against Henman's size principle and how motor units are recruited. So they need to look at the science and understand that trainer failure is a terrible environment for strength and power. You know, that's one thing if I teach my athletes is, for some reason in Australia and the world, we've got this want to always train to failure. This is to anyone watching. Just think about this. Any idiot can train you to failure. I can get someone off the street and get him to train me and just train me to metabolic failure. Can completely fuck me up. Can pretty much train me until I'm dead. Anyone can do that. It doesn't take anyone smart to do that. It takes someone with a bit of intellectual understanding of physiology and neuroscience to maximally stimulate your neuromuscular system and to develop strength, power, speed. It takes someone smart to understand bioenergetics and metabolic pathway development and understand rest periods and understand intensity and intensity of effort to develop certain athletic qualities. And that's one thing I want to leave you guys with is, understand it doesn't take a genius to train your failure. I can do it, anyone can do it. But if you have an understanding of physiology and neuroscience and how to develop your neuromuscular system, you get better as an athlete. So that's one thing that I want you guys to understand. Last thing I just kind of want you guys to remember knowledge is power, and that's why I started this. I started this because I was sick to death of just the people off the internet, people with a 12-week course, people with a 2-day course, whatever they are, I don't know what they are, but no passion, no drive for what they do. Now, I'm not saying that everyone with a 12-week course is no good and they won't do extra reading. I'm not saying that, but the whole problem about the fitness industry is it's flooded with these people who have no drive and passion, and they think that the industry is so easy and they just want to make a quick buck. And they fuck it up for the rest of the people who are driven, who have degrees, who go to uni, who want to learn, who get coaching experience. They fuck it up for the rest of them. And it pisses me off. And I sit here every day and I'm just like, I started this company to raise the bar, to get the general population and push strength and conditioning in mainstream media to get people to understand that the standard's so low. And people come to my company and they're like, wow, my posture's better. I can fire through my glutes. I'm moving better, I'm stronger, I'm quicker. And like, I can't believe your company. Because you've trained with a guy who's got no idea about physiology and all they care about is money. And that's the thing about the fitness industry. It's not about knowledge, it's about what you look like. It's about how popular you are. And it's bullshit. And my company, I don't stand for that. I stand for knowledge. I stand for getting better as a coach, getting better as a scientist. And that's what I do. It's half art, half science. And that's why I've done what I've done, because I'm raising the standard, and my company is, and I was sick of it. And this is to anyone out there. If you're an athlete, if you're general population, and you want to get better physically under educated coaches, come see us, and we'll show you the way, and we'll show you the difference. And that's one thing which I tell the guys: come down, and we'll show you our difference. And that's why I started this company, because I was sick to death of these cowboys with 12-week courses, no passion, no drive. Don't want to get better, and that's why I started this company. Just pretty much in conclusion, I've gone over the time today. Normally be 25 minutes. I'm really sorry, but obviously it's my first one. Next week, we're going to put this up as soon as possible. I want you guys to tell me what topics you guys want me to go over. So please, email me, christian@woodfordssc.com. I want feedback on this, so tell me what you thought of it. Hey, you could think I'm an arsehole. A lot of people do. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Don't worry. Tom's laughing because I'm like that with my guys as well. So, I mean, pretty much, please give me feedback. I want this to be really interactive. I want to help you guys out. I want to upskill you guys. Knowledge is power. Please ask me questions. I want you guys to understand strength and conditioning, sports science more. I want to cut the bullshit out. I want to cut the myths out in general health and fitness as well. So, ask away. If you want to sponsor my podcast, hopefully we get a few people watching it. You guys can get your brand out there. I want you to email my business development manager, Tom@WoodfordSSC. That's Tom, Tom, @WoodfordSSC. Just to finish on, September 13th, it's a big day for me. It's the 1-year anniversary of Woodford SSC. I will be announcing a big announcement. A big sponsor has come on board with me. I'm very proud to announce them, so stay tuned for that. Please like our Facebook page. Please keep following our announcements, following what we're doing. If you are an athlete out there, pre-season is coming up, so get ready. If you're a coach, please, I'm always happy to talk to you about what we do and how we can make your team bigger, stronger, faster, and less chance injury for the next season coming up. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll be doing one a week, 25 minutes. Other than that, if you want to check out our website, www.woodfordssc.com. Other than that, guys, live strong, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks very much.